This story is about a young woman named Cynthia. She lost her first child at birth due to diabetes during pregnancy. This story is so emotional. Watch till the end. Cynthia was just 28 years old when she married Collins. Their wedding had been one of those ceremonies people in the neighborhood would never forget in 1,000 years. It was so joyful, with plenty of songs and foods. For Collins' parents, Mr. and Mrs. Nathaniel, their only son getting married to such a kind-hearted, respectful woman was a dream come true. And for Cynthia, the marriage was like stepping into the life she had prayed for since her teenage years. When Cynthia discovered she was pregnant some few months after the wedding, it was as though there were butterflies in her belly. The moment she told Collins, he lifted her up in his arms and spun her around the room. They laughed, they cried, and whispered the words, "We are going to be parents." The news spread quickly through both families. Collins's mother, Mrs. Nathaniel, was so excited she immediately called her sisters, telling them, "My daughter is carrying our first grandchild. We must prepare for this angel's arrival." Every weekend, relatives came by with small gifts, baby clothes, toys, bags of rice, even chickens for celebration. The house was filled with hope and laughter. Collins would sit beside Cynthia at night, rubbing her swollen belly, whispering to the child inside, "Daddy is here. We can't wait to see you." Cynthia always smiled, even when she felt the weight of pregnancy pressing her down. Cynthia's little sister, Blessing, would sit beside Cynthia saying she can't wait to carry her little nephew or niece. But not everything was perfect. During one antenatal visit, the doctor said her blood sugar level was higher than normal. Gestational diabetes, he called it. The doctor advised regular checkups, and more importantly, diet and lifestyle changes. At first, Cynthia tried her best to comply, but family and friends, in their excitement, often brought her favorite foods. They would say, "Eat! You're eating for two!" And Cynthia, not wanting to disappoint them, would eat her full. As her due date approached, the family prepared like people waiting for Christmas. Collins's father, Mr. Nathaniel, went to the market to buy a brand new baby cot, beautifully carved from mahogany wood, while Cynthia's mother, Mrs. Samuel, brought wrappers and soft cloths, saying, "This child will not lack anything because she's the joy we've been waiting for." The night Cynthia went into labor, no one in the house could sleep. Collins couldn't sleep. He paced the floor, rehearsing how he would announce the baby's arrival to friends. He already had a secret name for the boy. Cynthia, despite the contractions starting slowly, whispered to him, "Promise me you'll hold our baby before anyone else does." He kissed her forehead and said, "I promise." By dawn, the contractions grew stronger. She was rushed to the hospital. Family members followed in a convoy of cars, their hearts pounding with excitement. In the waiting room, her mother and her in-laws prayed, her sisters sang hymns, and Collins kept his eyes glued to the labor ward door, whispering desperate prayers under his breath. But inside, things were not going as smoothly as everyone expected. The gestational diabetes had complicated matters. The baby was larger than normal, and the delivery became prolonged. Cynthia's cries echoed through the hall as nurses rushed back and forth. Hours passed. Collins clutched his hands together, whispering desperate prayers. "Lord, please, please save them both." Finally, a nurse stepped out, her face unreadable. "Congratulations," she said softly. "The mother is stable." Cheers erupted. The family jumped for joy, hugging one another. Collins rushed forward. "And the baby? Where is my child?" The nurse hesitated. Her lips trembled. I'm so sorry. The baby didn't make it." The world seemed to stop. The cheers faded into silence. Collins froze, unable to process her words. He felt the ground shifted beneath him. "No, No, that can't be true," he shouted repeatedly. Cynthia, still weak from labor, opened her eyes and asked softly, "Where's my baby? I want to see my baby." When they told her, her cry tore through the hospital like a knife through the soul. Back at home, the baby cot sat untouched in the corner, the baby clothes neatly folded in piles. The relatives who had once filled the house with laughter now sat in silence, their eyes red from tears. Colin's mother wept uncontrollably, blaming herself. Cynthia's mother could hardly look at her daughter without breaking down. She said, "Maybe we ought to have been careful with her diet." Cynthia held onto her husband one night, whispering, "I feel empty," as if a part of me was buried. Collins tried to be strong, but when she cried, he cried too. The baby was buried quietly with only the closest family present. No celebration, no loud songs, just the soft sound of earth falling over the small coffin. The dreams of a child's laughter filling their home disappeared in that moment. But as days turned into weeks, Cynthia found strength in Collins's unwavering support. "We will try again," he told her, holding her hand. "This is not the end of our story." She nodded, even though the ache in her heart lingered. The family, too, began to rally around them, not with songs this time, but with gentle hugs, understanding that some wounds take longer than others to heal. Cynthia's story became a silent reminder in the family and the neighborhood that behind every pregnancy lies both great hope and hidden risks, and that joy sometimes walks hand in hand with sorrow. Though her arms remained empty, her heart carried the memory of the child she never held. And in Colin's embrace, she found strength to hope again.